in my domain, got the whole crowd screaming out our name. It's a blowout, it's a hurricane, it's over before you know it. While you shaking, we're a dynasty in the making. We're the royalty, now we're breaking down the enemy. Move over for the soldiers. Take a swing, I can take a hit. If we die, it's fine, we live for this. It's all for this. We're gonna stand on top with our hands in the sky. Gonna raise our cup to the stadium lights. For the glory, for the glory. We celebrate with the city tonight. Hear the hometown cheer, it's the ultimate high. For the glory, we do it for the glory.
Good afternoon, race fans, and welcome here as we get set for an historical event here in Season 6 of the NNSCRA Hershey's Cup Series. For the first time ever, laps will not count. It is our first ever Hershey's Cup Series event where we are going to have a timed race. This is the Baja Rally 1000 racetrack, and this is a track that is over 12 miles long. So basically think of Thornton, but a little bit cooler, and with a lot of different elements, a lot of different landscapes, if you will. At one point, these drivers will be driving through the desert. At one point, these drivers are going to be driving through mountainous areas. These drivers are going to be driving through a dirt section. It's going to be really exciting. They're going to be driving at the end on like a regular road course section. This is a lot of fun, this racetrack. I've actually driven this track before in an online race, and it's it's so difficult to describe unless you've been out there and had the experience yourself. There are so many cool features, so many pitfalls. You're not going to want to miss this race. So as I stated, it's a timed race. These drivers are basically going to be running a 30-minute race. When the timer finishes off those 30 minutes, the next time the drivers hit the line, that is the checkered flag. Roughly, it's going to be about 5 laps around this racetrack because the pole sitter Charles Sandfer turned in a qualifying lap of just a little over 7 minutes. So roughly, it'll probably be somewhere between laps 4 on to 5 that we're going to have the checkered flag wave. As soon as the timer ends, the next time at the line is the checkers. So we'll see what happens in this one. We've got it set for 15 laps, but I very greatly doubt we're going to hit a completion of 15 laps in the allotted half hour of time. Let's go down trackside, get those most famous words in motorsports here at Baja.
Drivers, start your engines!
And of course, as regular road course rules, no cautions here today. So our crew here at the NNSCRA editing booth will be doing their best to fill you in on all the action that takes place, courtesy of the NNSCRA Split Cam. Charles Sandfer lines up on the pole alongside J McCloud. Let's give you your top 10 in the point standings coming into today's race from Baja Rally. Points leader is, of course, Tim Walsh now, taking the points lead over from Dylan Poteet. He now holds a 3-point advantage over the 31. Brandon Gonzales is now 4th in points. 5th, Jordan Anderson, with Alex Drayton, 2-time winner, sitting in 5th. Top 5 in the points are separated by only 16 points. Joshua Collard is now 6th in the standings. 7th is Joseph Srigley. He popped up into the top 10, as did last week's winner Zachary Fitzwater from Kansas. He's 8th in points. Chris Dodd is 9th, and Dylan Young currently completes the top 10 in the standings. For all the rest of the winners that are outside of the top 30 in the points, Benjamin Miles is 12th in points, K Shearer in 13th, or make that in 20th, I should say, with Dallas McIntosh in 22nd. You can see right there just all the elevation changes and everything that these drivers are going to have to work with here during the course of this race. Like I said, this track is a lot of fun when you get on it and you run it. And there's a lot of pitfalls as well. You can see they're kind of spaced out here. This is how they're going to be starting. A typical rally start where the first row starts about maybe 4 car lengths ahead of the second row, but if someone makes a mistake, plenty of opportunity for a driver to be able to capitalize. This is the ladder section of the course, the desert section. And then it transitions down here into the road course section, which will lead us to the start-finish line. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think it goes road course, desert, dirt track, and then mountainous region, and then back to desert before here onto this road course section leading to the start-finish line, if I'm not mistaken. There might be a couple of sections of the track that I'm forgetting. But Sandfer and McCloud starting on the front row. Both drivers have yet to go to victory lane this season. Sandfer comes into this race 34th in points, McCloud 30th in the standings, so both could certainly benefit from a win here today, and this may be a racetrack where track position is very, very important. Now when the green flag waves, we will not start the ticker. It will be when the leader, Sandfer, touches the start-finish line that the ticker will officially begin the 30-minute countdown. Leader touches the line. We're green flag racing here at Baja Rally. And the timer now has begun. Sandfer able to get out to the lead. McCloud moves into second. He's got J Arndt all over the back bumper, though, for that second position, as Sandfer, for the moment, is going to gap himself from the top 5. Kyle Keith 4th, J Gardner 5th. And the field's going to be very spread out here as well, with the fact that we had that bit of a staggered start, and the fact that this is a track where it pretty much is kind of a finesse track. You have to hit your marks perfectly, or else you may end up paying some very dear consequences. We got a good battle back here as they'll take it over the hop. Joshua Collard, Chris Dodd, a couple of drivers in the top 10 in the point standings battling each other. That would be, I think, for 8th place. Up ahead of them looks like Levi McIntire, Daniel Gilbert mixing it up. Now they'll head to the dirt section of this course. And there's one section of the track that they're going to be coming to that I love of this particular section of the track that you'll see in just a moment here. They're going to go over the bridge. And that water down, you can fall off that bridge. I've done it before. This is a tough spot. Whoa, look out! A couple of cars wheel hopping there. McCloud, Keith. It's going to cost them some track position as a result. I think another car actually hopped as well and lost some ground. I couldn't tell who it was, though. It might have been J Arndt, but I think he kind of recovered. Whoa, careful! Daniel Gilbert there, and Daniel and Chris Dodd getting into it with each other. Now I think we're coming down to the section of the course that I think is a really fun part of this track. Should be approaching it pretty soon. Or maybe it's in another section of the course. No, I think it's right down here, actually, if memory serves me correctly. J Arndt there in second, trying to run down Charles Sandfer. Look at these elevation changes. Look at this. It's like you're driving a rally course here. Should be right up around this corner right here, the section that I'm talking about. Whoa, Sandfer and Arndt both kind of sliding off that corner. Oh, J Gardner loses it. And actually went into the crowd, and there it is. Look at that. Woo, right over the water. Charles Sandfer may not want to look in his rearview mirror because J Arndt is closing. He's right there. Chris Dodd moving into third. Daniel Gilbert now battling with Levi McIntire and Daniel Voyles for 4th place. B Allan right there along with Joshua Collard. And now we're getting down to the portion of the racetrack here that I mentioned, the mountainous area. This is going to be the biggest elevation change area of the course. They're going to ascend the mountain and then descend the mountain. And there is one spot here oh, careful. Got to be careful with this transition. Daniel Voyles is going to spin right in front of, I think that was Levi McIntire. But there is a spot up here where if you take a corner just wrong on the descent part of this mountainous area, you fall down into a ravine. I've been down there before. It's not fun. You can't get out of there. And that could spell the end of a driver's race. Trying to see if McIntyre was able to recover here. Yeah, he recovered. So he's still going. Looks like Voyles is still going, so despite the issue they had, oh, here we go. They're getting into that section. Right there, if you look right there off to the left, if you fall down into that, your day is done. Ooh, Gilbert nearly got forced there by Chris Dodd. And now I think they've made it past that portion. Sandfer's been able to pull away now from J Arndt. I think Sandfer was able to recover there on that left-hander into the mountainous area a lot better than J Arndt was able to, and now they head into the continuation of the desert part. Now this is the beginning of the section we saw these drivers start their pacing with, and then it will finish off heading into that road course section again. But a lot of elevation changes here. Oh, we got a car back there in the trees. That's Daniel Gilbert getting caught up in the flora of this track, and that may be it for his race. Look at the cars here. Looks like they've been through a war zone. You can see a lot of front-end damage on J Baskinger, but these drivers trying to brave the elements. Teammates battling here, Joshua Collard and Brooke Allen. This is, I believe, the battle for 4th place. I think Brooke Allen will take the spot for good for the moment. Look at this. Battle for the lead heating up again. Charles Sandfer, J Arndt, and boy, J Arndt is right there on the bumper. Is he gonna make a move on the 0-3? J Arndt comes into this race 13th in the point standings, trying to crack the top 10. And there you see, there's the camera angle. This is where we were looking at the starting grid when this race began. Oh boy, they're gonna take this battle. Ooh, contact! Look at this! This is great! Sandfer and Arndt side by side. J Arndt may have the spot here going through the tunnel. And I think he might clear for the lead. Nope, Sandfer battles back on the top side. Now they're going back down to these elevation changes. Oh, this is going to be really close. And I think J Arndt got the spot now. He finally clears for the race lead. Sandfer now falls to 2nd. Whoa! Hang on to her, Charles. Chris Dodd firmly in control of the 3rd position. They're all starting to pile up here for 4th place, though. Collard, Keith, Voyles, Allen. Keith Batson's now up here. Joshua Ciculli. Oh, there goes the 3 of Brooke Allen and the 26 of Daniel Voyles. And that could drop both of them outside of the top 10. As Baskinger gets by, Benny Watson gets by. J Arndt now firmly in control of the top position, has opened a gap between himself and Charles Sandfer. All this going on, you can see our ticker is now hit about the 23-minute mark, so 7 minutes in. And these drivers have yet to even complete the first lap, as there's the battle for 4th. Kyle Keith to the inside of Joshua Collard. Ooh, almost some contact right there between those 2 Camaros. Easy does it. Is the best battle on the track right now. And crossing the line was the 05 of J Arndt as the race leader. We see a number of drivers on pit road getting involved in one thing or another. We're trying to wait for the dust to settle to see who they are. Daniel Gilbert's on pit road in the 4. Trent Dunham, Dylan Poteet, who came into this race 2nd in the standings, and the guy that he was trying to run down for the points lead, Tim Walsh, I believe, is also on pit road in the 15. So at least 4 drivers are on pit road. 2 of them coming into this race 1st and 2nd in the standings. And this battle for the race lead is not over. Charles Sandfer has reeled J Arndt back in for the top spot. Trent Dunham was 18th in the points coming into this race, and Daniel Gilbert was 33rd. Now the driver right now with Poteet and Walsh sitting on pit road that could definitely benefit would be the 23 of Brandon Gonzales. Was only 5 points out of the points lead coming into this race, third in the standings. We're going to go back and see where he is in just a moment, but I want to watch this battle for the lead because it is not over yet between J Arndt and Charles Sandfer. Now it looks like it's settled a little bit, but that doesn't mean anything. Ooh, both cars off that jump, wheel hop a little, but keep it going. This battle for fourth place might end up changing some spots here. Whoa! Keith Batson up and onto the hood of Joshua Ciculli there for a moment. Benny Watson right there behind his teammate. Voyles, Hartnett, McIntyre, McIntosh. Good run right now for the 14. Well needed. Whoa! Teammates! Oh, careful! Oh, Baskinger got spun. Baskinger was into the bushes and then got into Watson, and now he collects Daniel Voyles as well. And Voyles, I think, is stuck. Voyles can't get going. Oh, tough break there for the 26. Is right there, you see, there's the car we were looking for, the 23 of Brandon Gonzales. And I think he's just outside of the top 10, actually. He might have actually just moved into the top 10 after we just saw the misfortune of Daniel Voyles. Oh boy, they both slid off that corner again, but they kept it going. Chris Dodd there. Joshua Collard's now moved up to fourth. Battle for fifth between Joshua Ciculli and Kyle Keith. So Ciculli is fifth. Keith is sixth. Seventh place is now Benny Watson. Keith Batson falls back to eighth. Ninth, Emmanuel Hartnett. And right now, Dallas McIntosh. 10th is Levi McIntyre loops it. He's going to be able to get it going, but he's going to lose a lot of positions. And now he got hit again. This time by the 38 of Baskinger. Both keep going, though. They'll jump over the water. And there's the guy right there that really could reap a lot of benefits with what we just saw take place there. Oh, Sandfer got around J Arndt for the top position again. So, second lead change. Chris Dodd hoping these two wreck each other as he's still there in third. Oh, Ciculli! Ciculli stuck! Ciculli did not get the elevation change the way he needed to. Oh, wait a minute. He might be able to. Oh, wow. Oh, nope. Oh, I thought that Dallas McIntosh dislodged him. Nope, apparently not. Shane Lake just spun around there in that section. Going back up here towards the front. Sandfer through the mountainous region. J Arndt as well. Nobody, I don't think, has fallen into the ravine yet. There's Chris Dodd, and oh wow, we may have a battle for third heating up. Joshua Collard closing in on Chris Dodd for that position. He's right there. Ooh, boy, is he right there. He's right into the quarter panel as he moves Chris Dodd unceremoniously out of the way. So Charles Sandfer back to the top position. J Arndt now has lost quite a bit of ground to the driver out of Retro Racing Enterprises. Both teams as a whole looking for their first win of the season, Retro Racing Enterprises and Flying Aces Racing. Collard now in third place, Chris Dodd back to fourth with Kyle Keith there in fifth. Benny Watson, the second highest running rookie, in sixth, with Batson in seventh. Eighth, Emmanuel Hartnett. Cole Baker's now up to ninth with Alex Drayton in 10th. Oh, might have been an issue right there for Kyle Keith as he and Chris Dodd make a little contact as well, and that's going to bring Benny Watson into this battle. This is a three-way, now make it a four-way battle as Keith Batson joins. This is for the fourth position. Keith will take fourth place. Chris Dodd now falls back into the clutches of Watson and Batson. And Watson will take the position, so now move Benny Watson up into the top five. Keith Batson trying to get sixth place. The gap between Sandfer and Arndt looks like it might be visibly closing up, but I can't really tell. Collard's got all by his lonesome there in the third position. Battle for fourth may be heating up between Kyle Keith and Benny Watson. Let's take the opportunity here to find out what drivers have officially called it a day, though, here in this race. And nobody officially out of the race. We do have those drivers that were on pit road. Gilbert, Poteet, Dunham and Walsh. And they'll finish where they are. More drivers on pit road. Ciculli, we saw, got stuck in the mountainous section. D Voyles got stuck just after the bridge. They're on pit road. And so 6 drivers currently sit on pit lane en route to pretty mediocre finish here today at the Baja Rally. Almost halfway through, 16 minutes remaining here in this race. And here's the best battle on track for the 4th position. Kyle Keith has it. Benny Watson wants it. These cars can only take so much. With all of these jumps and elevation changes, you gotta think it's gotta be affecting these drivers speed-wise. But Charles Sandfer still pulling away. There's another car on pit road, I think. I can't tell who that is. There's a car, I think, behind the 15 of Tim Walsh, but I can't see who it is. Oh, it's Elijah Gilbert in the 98. So it looks like he won't get a good finishing result here today either. 3-way battle for 4th. Watson, Keith, and Batson. J Arndt trying to catch Charles Sandfer. When they crossed the line the last time, Sandfer had about a 3.5 second lead over J Arndt, but one mistake in one section of the course, J Arndt can make that up easily. You notice just how gingerly Sandfer and J Arndt right there took that jump. They're realizing that their machinery can only go so far, and they're trying to be as careful as they can. I thought for a moment I saw black smoke out of the back of the 33, but apparently not. Benny Watson's got a nice look in his rearview mirror at this battle for 5th place between Keith Batson and Kyle Keith. Looks like it will go to Batson for the moment. So Keith drops back to 6th. Dodd still hanging on there in 7th. 8th place is Cole Baker, and now here's a battle for 9th. Manuel Hartnett has it. Alex Drayton wants it. He'll take the spot. That'll move Hartnett back to 10th, and look who's been able to work his way up to 11th. Kyle Mathews trying to crack the top 10. Most drivers have some difficulty with that section of the course right here, but looks like they figured it out. Oh boy, battle for the lead back on between Sandfer and J Arndt. Sandfer may have been one of the few leaders that did not get that jump quite right. Whoa! Thought J Arndt was going to go off that jump and jump literally with a landing to the right side of Sandfer's Chevrolet. Boy, J Arndt really good through this section of the course. Seems to be a lot better getting back to the throttle than Charles Sandfer. Oh, look out, look out. Oh, there might have been some contact right there. Arndt trying to get Sandfer a little loosey-goosey. Both cars take the water section. They're closing in on a driver. That's Daniel Gilbert in the 4, who has returned back to the racetrack. Now, Gilbert was on pit road. Had to teleport there. But it looks like he's trying to salvage what he can, as here comes a battle for the lead. J Arndt, Charles Sandfer taking it double wide down into maybe a section of the course you don't want to do that at. Oh my goodness, this is not good. Oh, are they going to make this corner? Are they going to make this corner? Oh! Contact. They save it. Sandfer got into the grass. He lost some grip as a result, and J Arndt was able to complete the pass for the lead. Thought for a moment there it was actually going to be Joshua Collard getting a nice little Christmas present of the race lead with Sandfer and Arndt wrecking each other out, but that's not the case. You see there Daniel Gilbert, the cloud of dust he's kicking up there just ahead of the race leader J Arndt. So depending on the lap times Gilbert's laying down, J Arndt may have to deal with traffic momentarily, just for a brief moment in that shot, you saw the three race leaders, Arndt, Sandfer, and Collard. Collard is trying to close up the gap between himself and second place. Kyle Keith and Benny Watson right now firmly in control of fourth and fifth. Where did Keith Batson go? 39 is kind of missing. Where is he? He might have run into some issues. And look who's popped up into the top 10. Or trying to. Brandon Gonzales in the 23. Right behind him, last week's winner from Kansas, Zachary Fitzwater is there. Boy, Chris Dodd has been having struggles with this latter section of the course right here, just exiting the mountainous region. This is where he dropped outside of the top 5, and now looks like he may have dropped outside of the top 10. Kyle Mathews, I believe, has cracked the top 10 now. He is all over the back bumper of Cole Baker. That would be for 6th place. Baker 6th, Mathews 7th, Hartnett 8th, Drayton 9th, and now Brandon Gonzales, who currently would be the points leader according to the live standings, is the completion of your top 10. And now J Arndt has caught Daniel Gilbert. Let's see how much of an issue that 4-car is going to be, and if he is going to be an issue, that may allow Charles Sandfer to close back up and battle for the race lead once more. Still nobody out of the race. But I am curious about the 39 of Keith Batson. Is he on pit road? Yes, he is. So he must have run into some issue here, which, of course, would have been documented for you guys to see, courtesy of the NNSCRA split cam. We're at less than 10 minutes to go, about 9 3/4 minutes remaining. So if my calculations are correct, these drivers will get to the start-finish line, and more than likely, when they hit the line, it'll either be 1 to go or theoretically the white flag, depending on how long it takes for J Arndt to get around this racetrack. Again, when the timer hits zeros, it's the next time they hit the stripe that the race is official. Also curious if these drivers may have to start thinking about making pit stops here too. Never really thought about that. I mean, 12 miles long, over 12 miles long racetrack. And this is CTS physics. Would they have to think about making a green flag pit stop during this timed race? That's a point that I never actually really thought of until just at this moment. Boy, barring J Arndt making a mistake, Charles Sandfer going to have to pray for a miracle, because right now Arndt's got himself pretty well gapped. I mean, Arndt's on the road course section. Sandfer was still in the desert section. J Arndt looking for what would be his 3rd career win. He had a win, his first career one, back in Season 4 at Kansas, a track that we just left last week. So, the 2-year anniversary of his first career win in the Hershey's Cup Series. A couple cars leaving pit road. Elijah Gilbert, I think Tim Walsh has left pit road. But J Arndt also had a win last season, but it happened during the playoffs, so he didn't make it into the chase for the championship, and now looking for his 3rd straight season with at least 1 trip to victory lane. Charles Sandfer has now caught Daniel Gilbert in the 4. We'll try to get around him, but then he's going to have to deal with the 98 of Elijah Gilbert, who came off pit road behind the race leader J Arndt, but ahead of 2nd place Charles Sandfer. Looks like Sandfer will easily get by the 4. There's Collard, currently hanging in 3rd place. The best battle's been here between Benny Watson, the rookie, in the 24, and Kyle Keith in the 29 for the 4th position. They have swapped that spot back and forth numerous times this past lap, and look like they're going to continue to battle for that spot here on this lap. You see where J Arndt is at. Just now heading into the dirt section here. And you can see the amount of time on the clock. Now, right there, 7 minutes, 7 seconds was the lap time that the pole sitter, Charles Sandfer, laid down to start on the pole position. So that says to me that more than likely J Arndt will get back across the start-finish line before the zeros hit on our timer. So this, I would think, would theoretically be 2 laps to go. It'll be the white flag when J Arndt hits the line next time by. unless J Arndt hits some kind of a snag, is really slow in a certain section of the course and doesn't get back to the start-finish line in the next 6.5 minutes. Let's look through the top 10 now as they run. J Arndt, the race leader. Charles Sandfer there in second. We may have a battle between him and Joshua Collard for second place momentarily. Collard's been steadily picking up track position on the 0-3 each time that we've crossed the line, so that may be a potential battle here in the closing stages of this race, but Collard still currently sits in third. Fourth place now is Kyle Keith. Benny Watson back in fifth. Kyle Mathews is now sixth. Seventh place Cole Baker. Eighth is Alex Drayton, so a great run for him. Ninth place is going to be Brandon Gonzales, and currently completing your top 10, J Bryant in the 22. We haven't talked about him all day. You saw that Tim Walsh was back on track, as is Dylan Poteet, but right there, Poteet may be drafting behind the driver that's going to take the points lead heading into next week's race at Dover. Brandon Gonzales came into this race 5 points back from the points lead. The only other driver that really is in the conversation of maybe taking the points lead would be Alex Drayton, but he's 16 points out of the top spot and only one position ahead of Brandon Gonzales. So I think that Gonzales right now is en route to picking up the points lead heading into Dover, as Daniel Gilbert has issue again, this time with the transition to the mountainous area of the course, and looks like he'll be sitting another stint on pit road. Charles Sandfer trying to get around Elijah Gilbert now. A long ways back from current race leader J Arndt, but not too far behind him is Joshua Collard in the 33. He's just now driving through the dust kicked up by the 0-3 of Charles Sandfer. Sandfer still not able to get around Elijah Gilbert at this point. I thought this was going to be one of the most difficult portions of the track, and we may see someone fall into the ravine, but they've done a good job getting through the mountainous region. J Arndt right now, you can see right there, look at how easily he took that bump. Does it again right there, lands it perfectly. He realizes right now this is his race to lose. He is trying to keep that race car in one piece, trying not to hurt the suspension, because hopefully his spotter has told him that he'll probably get around and have to make one more lap to take this checkered flag. And he cannot afford a mistake. You can see right there, second place Sandfer, third place Collard in the same shot, but quite a ways back. But like I stated, one little mistake, one little spin, and having to try and get the car refired can cost J Arndt the race lead and potentially the race win. But can he get back to the start-finish line before 3.5 minutes are up, is the question. He has to hit the line before the zeros hit the clock. I think he's going to be able to do it. He's more than halfway through the through the entire road course, and we are about 3 minutes remaining. So I think that when he hits the line, J Arndt will be getting the proverbial white flag. It's going to be the money lap. You can see on that camera angle, it almost looked like second place Charles Sandfer was a mirage so far back. Elijah Gilbert's been able to actually pull away from Charles Sandfer, and Sandfer will probably have to start looking more in his rearview mirror than in his windshield, because Joshua Collard is closing. And this battle continues between Keith and Watson. This has been the best dogfight for the last 3 or so laps. Watson and Keith for that 4th position. Both drivers really needed a good run though here today, and they're both getting it. Kyle Keith coming into this race way down in the point standings of 38th, Benny Watson 40th. So both drivers, provided they don't wreck each other, are looking like they're going to leave with a top 5 finish here today. Well-needed runs for both of these machines. Going to jump up to J Arndt here because he's getting close to the road course section, and there's 1 3/4 minutes remaining on the clock. Will he get to the start-finish line before the time runs out? Oh, I think he will. I think he definitely will. 1.5 minutes left to go here. Jon Arndt just has to hit the start-finish line. If it were like 20 seconds, then it might be close. But yeah, he's coming here into the final left-hander to the start-finish line. And so right now would be the white flag displayed over the hood of the Reddit Chevrolet. Jon Arndt just has to make it around one more time. Here you see Ciculli, Batson, Gilbert still on pit road. Sandfer there in second. Collard in third. About 7.5 seconds between Arndt and Sandfer, but only about 3.5 seconds between Sandfer and Joshua Collard. Can Collard run Sandfer down? Then it's a long ways back before you get to Benny Watson and Kyle Keith, 4th and 5th. Kyle Mathews in 6th, Cole Baker in 7th. Battle for 8th might be on between Alex Drayton and Brandon Gonzales, and J.T. Bryant, there you see, completes your top 10. Jon Arndt just trying to tiptoe his way around here. You see him, and then you barely see the lap car of Elijah Gilbert. Zeros on the clock. This is officially the final lap of this race. Next time by is the checkers. And one driver is officially going to be out of this race. Trent Dunham will finish 42nd. Not the run that the defending champion was looking for. Saw Jon Arndt have a little bit of difficulty there with that corner. Charles Sandfer did not. But I don't know if Sandfer's got enough time to run him down. Collard had a difficulty though. So that may just have iced second place into the possession of Charles Sandfer. Benny Watson been able to get away a little bit there from Kyle Keith. Let's see how he does through this section. Keeps it on track. Keith does as well. So their battle may not be over. Kyle Mathews, he gets through it pretty well. So does Cole Baker. And here's a battle. Oh, Gonzales off the course. J.T. Bryant going to try and take 9th. This is a battle for 8th. Dylan Poteet is not involved as far as position concerned. He is currently off the lead lap. But I think maybe trying to play some defense for his teammate in the 77 to hang on to 8th place. J.T. Bryant now to 9th. Gonzales there in 10th. Sean Gallighan is now up to 11th place. 12th place, Zachary Fitzwater. 13th right now would be Levi McIntyre. 14th is Emmanuel Hartnett. 15th, Joseph Srigley. 16th is Kat Batson. 17th, Jessica Shelton. K Shearer, 18th. 19th, Shane Lake. And right now, completing your top 20 would be James Richardson. Look at all the way back here in 21st is Chris Dodd, who near the beginning of this race was up inside of the top 5. Boy, this is really close right here. 8th, 9th, 10th place battle. And right now, it's the best battle on the track. Everybody else pretty spaced out. First on back through 7th. Drayton now looks like he's firmly in control of 8th place as Gonzales will get around the lap car of Dylan Poteet. J.T. Bryant looking to do the same. I don't know if Sean Gallighan's got a shot at getting into the top 10 or not. He might, if some of these drivers have an issue up here in the mountainous section. Collard's closed in on Sandfer. Watson had a little difficulty there. And now Keith does as well. Kyle Mathews does. Baker, not as much. He might get Kyle Mathews for 6th place. Oh, Poteet spins around. Gets it refired and going. Ooh, Gallighan. Oh, Gallighan. Oh, I thought he was going to get stuck. He got it going. And now Fitzwater all over his back bumper. That's the battle for 11th. Drayton side by side with Gonzales. Gonzales off the course, as J.T. Bryant has now moved from 10th up to 8th. Baker makes the pass on Kyle Mathews. That puts him to 6th place. Sandfer gapped himself from Collard a little bit there, so still holds 2nd. Yeah, I don't think Gallighan's going to be able to get up here to Drayton and Gonzales. I think he's going to have to probably settle for 11th. Where did Fitzwater go? There's Fitzwater. I thought Fitzwater was going to take the spot from him. But Fitzwater back in 12th. McIntyre right there in 13th. Gonzales and Drayton still fighting. That's for 9th place. Mathews trying to get back to Cole Baker to get 6th position back. And here's the battle for 2nd. On this final lap, Collard has caught Sandfer and looks like he might make the pass. Ooh, wow, Sandfer had the better line there. It was a little bit flatter. Collard had to take a bit of a hop, and that killed his momentum, so Sandfer holds on to 2nd for the moment. Collard's right there. They'll try and challenge again. You can see J Arndt up ahead, but he's just too far away. Collard going to try again. Moves driver's right. And he will make the pass on Charles Sandfer. So Collard moves to the runner-up spot. Sandfer drops back to 3rd. I think the only shot that Collard and Sandfer would have had at J Arndt is if J Gilbert got up there and ruffled the feathers of the Reddit Chevrolet, but he's not close enough. Collard now in control 2nd, Sandfer back to 3rd. Watson 4th, 5th Keith, 6th is Baker, 7th is Mathews, 8th JT Bryant. The battle is on again. Wait a minute, I think Gallighan may have a shot at the top 10. He's caught Drayton and Gonzales, and it's now a 3-car fight up for the 9th, 10th, 11th position. He just cracked the top 10, Gallighan getting around Brandon Gonzales, and now sets his sights on Alex Drayton for 9th. Meanwhile, we're going to move up here to J Arndt because he's moving into the latter sections of the course. J Arndt, Charles Sandfer were in a tooth and nail battle in the first 2 laps of this race, swapping the lead back and forth, but J Arndt finally completed the pass on Sandfer and never looked back, dominating the latter half of this race. And J Arndt is going to get his 3rd career win, 1st of the season. He takes the checkered flag here at Baja Rally. Sandfer crossed the line in 2nd. No, make that Collard crossed in 2nd. Sandfer crosses 3rd. We're now waiting on 4th place, which will be Benny Watson. He crosses the line now. Kyle Keith trying to get the top 5 position. Cole Baker right on his back bumper, but not going to get there in time. So Keith's going to get 5th. Baker's going to be 6th. Bryant got 7th. He was able to get around Mathews in the closing stages. Mathews will get 8th. And here comes Gallighan. He'll get 9th with Brandon Gonzales 10th. Drayton will be 11th. Fitzwater looks like he'll be 12th. McIntyre 13th. Kat Batson 14th. And K Shearer will complete the top 15. Srigley, I think, got Shelton at the line for 16th. He did. Shelton 17th. Blake will be 18th. And it looks like teammates Hartnett and Richardson. No, Hartnett will get 19th, and it will be Benjamin Miles 20th. With Chris Dodd 21st. 22nd, James Richardson. 23rd will be Blaine Keys. Waiting on L Alvarise to cross the line, which he just did, so he'll be 24th. Brooke Allen there, 25th. And 26th will be Jordan Anderson. 27th, Johnny Gardner. Dylan Young back in 28th. Anthony McCrury, 29th. And 30th position looks like is going to be R Reynolds. So J Arndt will win this race. There is your race winner. We will be right back to show you the full finishing results in just a moment as we wait for the remainder of the field to cross the start-finish line. All right, so the standings are now official. It will be J Arndt with the win. Joshua Collard gets Rookie of the Race in second. Charles Sandfer third. Benny Watson fourth. Kyle Keith fifth. Then Baker, Bryant, Mathews, Gallighan, and Gonzales. That is your top 10. We basically gave you the finishing results down through 30th, so let's go down through the remainder. 31st was J McCloud, Cody Smart. 32nd, 33rd, J Baskinger. Dallas McIntosh was the last car to finish on the lead lap, over 6 seconds back from the race winner, J Arndt. He'll finish in 34th place. All these drivers encountered problems and finished off the lead lap after sitting on pit road. J Gilbert, Keith Batson, Daniel Voyles, Tim Walsh, who came in the points leader, D Poteet, who came in second in the points, 38th and 39th for them. Daniel Gilbert, J Ciculli also off the lead lap, and one car finished out of the race, Trent Dunham, in the 42nd position. So with a finish of 10th place, Brandon Gonzales, I'm 100% certain, is going to be the points leader heading into next week's race at Dover. But thank you all for tuning in to today's race from Baja Rally. That was exciting. That was a fun race. And first time that we ran a timed race here in the Hershey's Cup Series. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, become part of the crew today. We've shown you full feature results. These are your rookie points and your overall points. Heading to next week, it's trucks and Hershey's Cup Series action only from the Monster Mile at Dover. But till then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best. J Arndt now puts his name in the ring as a driver that may compete for this season's Hershey's Cup Series chase for the championship.